Welcome to the Macro Habits Podcast. I am your host, Hannah. I hope you guys are having the best week, or you've had the best week. I hope that you have a fun weekend planned. I am going to get into this episode after I go over my high and low. I'm excited for this episode. I feel like it's one that's been requested quite a bit. It's going to be about inflammation, cortisol, and just like a general Q&A about those two things. I'm going to throw some body recomp questions in there. This episode wasn't one I had planned, but it was inspired because I did a Q&A on my Instagram the other night about just questions you guys had about inflammation and body recomp, cortisol, all that stuff. I got so many good questions. I was answering them and I realized I need to do a long form answer to most of these. So this is why I started a podcast, was to be able to expand on information like this, give you guys my take based on my experience and my research and all of that stuff. So I am so excited for this episode. I think it's going to be really informational and hopefully answer your guys' questions and give you some insight on those areas. Let's go over my high of the week. I am so excited. I just booked a trip to Utah. This episode will probably come out after this Utah trip, but I'm just excited to see my nieces. I'm going to do Christmas the weekend before with my older brother and his family, and my parents are going to Utah that weekend. It's actually called like Nona Pop Pop Christmas. That's what my nieces call my mom and dad, Nona and Pop Pop. And then I'm Hannah Claus. That's the nickname I've coined for this season. I am so excited to be doing Christmas with my nieces and just, I love to spoil them. I'm going to Amazon a Santa suit to my brother's house because I'm literally going to dress up as Santa Claus and be called Hannah Claus. It's kind of like a joke in my family, but I can't wait to dress up. I think my nieces are going to get a kick out of it, and I'm just so excited to be able to spoil them and do like a Christmas morning with them. It'll be really special, and I just love my nieces. They bring me so much genuine joy. Like, I said this in another episode, but I really hope I love my future children as much as I love my nieces, because they are like the highlight of my life in this season. So very excited to be spending time with them. And then I'm also excited because the day that I fly into Utah, my friend Lexi is going to pick me up. We're going to go get dinner and then go to a Jazz game. She works for the Jazz, and so she's got us good seats. And I don't think I've been to a Jazz game since college, because I went to school in Utah. Like, that was a long time ago now, but it'll be really fun. And I just think it's really good to have things to look forward to right now for me. That brings me into my low. And I just feel like this is going to be my low for a while. Like, going through a breakup is so shitty. And so one of the things that I'm doing to help keep my spirits high is making sure that I'm planning fun things. You know, the Utah trip, it will be a really good thing for me. It's a good distraction. It's good to get out of, Orange County for a minute and just have like a new change of scenery. Another thing that I'm doing, like, I'll just give you guys an example over the next couple of days. I like to have something planned every day that's going to fill my cup, and that just kind of gives me something to look forward to. I think that's so important when you're going through a breakup. So for example, tonight I'm going on a walk and going to dinner with my friend Riley. Tomorrow night I'm getting a massage. Saturday night I'm going to this like Christmas market situation with my friend Riley. Sunday I'm going to church with a friend. Riley is literally my saving grace in this time of life. Riley is one of my best friends. I've talked about her before on here, but I'm just so grateful for my friends. I think that's like another high, is I'm really acknowledging, and I have so much gratitude for the friendships that I have in my life. Like, my friends are so top tier. They are so incredible. I am just so grateful to have such strong friendships. And in a season like this where I'm going through a breakup, my friends really step up to the plate and like are there for me. And I'm just so appreciative and grateful for that. With that being said, I think it's really important to feel your feelings. And that is something I'm not good at. I'm self-aware, and I'll be honest. Like, I will bulldoze through something and kind of ignore the sadness and try really hard to distract myself with anything and everything just to like not feel the feeling, because I really don't like feeling sad. I mean, I feel like no one likes to feel sad, but I struggle to like sit in the sadness feeling, and that's something I'm also working on. My therapist is really helpful for that. I talk about therapy quite a bit on here, I feel like, just like kind of randomly when it comes up. But my therapist is like, you need to sit in moments of sadness and feel the feeling. I know it's not easy. I know it's not hard. And it doesn't have to look a certain way. Like everyone can feel sadness in different ways. Some people, lay in bed and cry. Others just, I don't know, maybe you feel sad when you're on a walk, or it's just really leaning into that emotion when you're feeling it and feeling it. The only way to get through something is to go through it. So if I distract myself with too many things, I know that's not conducive for me, like mourning the loss of this breakup and like the loss of this person in my life. So I'm trying to also, grow as a person and work on that. And it's so hard. Like last night was so hard for me. Like I just had like the worst night, and I'm proud of myself though, because I didn't distract myself with something. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't doom scroll. Like I sat there, I felt the feeling. I think journaling is really helpful for me. Not something I'm good at either. Like journaling is so hard for me, but when I sit there and write down my feelings, it's amazing how I feel after. Like it's so hard in the moment. And then after I'm like, okay, like my thoughts are more organized. I've processed some things. So I'm really trying to like go through this breakup and be as proactive as possible in not only going through it and getting through it, but like feeling my feelings. So day by day, you guys, day by day is the motto. Sometimes it's hour by hour. Sometimes it's minute by minute. You just gotta, I don't know. I try not to even think about tomorrow. I'm just thinking about today and what I'm doing today and making sure that I'm being proactive in my life, but also it's okay to have a bad day, Anyway, let's get into this Q&A with all the things I talked about at the beginning of this episode. We're going to start out with, and these are questions I pulled from that Q&A box that I had. How to build muscle without gaining fat. I get this question a lot. So the key is to eat enough to support muscle growth while also not being in a huge surplus. So you want to be at the right macro split. That is so, so important when it comes to building lean muscle without gaining fat at the same time. You want to be at a good maintenance number or be reverse dieting. If you're too low in calorie, it's going to be really, really hard and almost impossible to build muscle. So you need to be at that good maintenance macro split, or like I said, reverse diet, which is slowly increasing your macros over a period of time. I write custom independent reverse dieting plans. They're 6, 8, 10, or 12 weeks. And I like to see someone's questionnaire in 3-Day Food Recall and then be able to be like, okay, you need to do a 6-week reverse, or you need to do a 12-week reverse. The lower calorie someone is, the longer duration the reverse is normally. But reverse dieting is amazing for body recomp. It usually is what most girls and people need to do in order to build muscle. So reverse diet, if you have questions about that, you can always DM me or email me. Another thing that helps is high protein. I generally encourage about 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. But I also, for me personally, I weigh my weight ranges between like 135 and 140. I don't weigh myself honestly ever. The only time I weigh myself is if I do an in-body scanner where I'm seeing my body fat, water weight, muscle mass. I'm able to see like the big picture. And I'm in that 135 to 140 range, and I strive to eat about 150 to 160 grams of protein, sometimes like 165. I feel my leanest and my fittest when I'm eating that 150 to 160. So I'm even eating a little bit more when it comes to like the 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. But I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you're not eating a lot of protein, don't jump to 150 tomorrow. You have to slowly increase your protein intake. Your body kind of has to adjust to it, especially like your digestive system and all of that stuff. That's where reverse dieting can be very beneficial. Okay, progressive overload in your lifts. So progressive overload is increasing the challenge over time so your body has a reason to adapt and grow stronger and build endurance. And there are so many ways to progressive overload. You don't necessarily need to lift heavier every single time you lift or lift heavier every week. Yes, that is a way to progressive overload, but you can also increase your reps. So if you're someone that normally lifts, maybe for a normal rep count, you strive for like that 8 to 12 rep, try to do a 15 to 20 rep. You can also increase your sets. If you do 3 sets of something, boost it or bump it up to that 4 to 5 set range. Slowing down the tempo and time under tension is amazing. And this is something that I've personally been doing a lot of lately just to help with like progressive overload. So tempo work is amazing. I will, for example, let's say I'm doing a bicep curl. I'm curling 1 count up and then doing 3 counts down, and really doing a slow 3 count down is exhausting your muscle in a different way. I really am trying to implement that time under tension into my workouts weekly. I've also gotten a lot better at that from Pilates. So I do Legree Pilates, 3 to 4 times a week. And a lot of Pilates is time under tension and really slow. Like you are doing a lunge as slow as possible. And it's almost harder because you're going so slow. Like in my Pilates classes, the instructor that I love going to, her name is Caitlin. She's like one of my favorite instructors at BFit in Laguna Niguel. And she really coaches like 6 counts as you go down and then 6 counts as you go up. Obviously, Pilates is different than lifting, but hearing that constant reminder to slow down your tempo in Pilates has been so helpful for me. And I've kind of translated that into my lifts more, which I do feel like is helping me see results. It's good for muscle confusion as well. Another way is to improve your form. Form is key when it comes to lifting, and I feel like it's something that's obvious, but it's something that people need to pay attention to more, especially myself. Like I know before I go, for example, if I'm doing an RDL, before I start that RDL, I am pulling my shoulders down and back. I'm making sure my head is in line with my spine. I try to imagine a pencil in between my shoulder blades to keep my shoulders down and back, and then I'm engaging my core. And going over those pointers before I go into that RDL, my lift is so much more efficient. It's clean, it's better, and I'd rather have better form and do less reps than do more reps with mediocre form. Okay, lastly shortening the rest time. I am so bad at resting in between sets. My brain likes to go, go, go. Like I want to get this done. So I actually could probably benefit from adding in some more rest time. But if you're someone that's resting 60 to 90 seconds in between sets, try to shorten it to 45 seconds and see how you feel. Increasing your training frequency. If you're training or lifting 3 days a week, bump it up to 3 to 5 days a week. And then lastly, changing the exercise variation. This one is so key, and I have been doing this more lately in my lifts to see more results. But for example, if you're doing a dumbbell lateral raise every single time on a shoulder day, try to switch it with a cable lateral raise or a barbell shoulder press. There's so many different ways to work a muscle, and we get so kind of routine with our exercises that we like. It's important to like broaden that and get out of your comfort zone with different types of lifts and equipment. I love the cable machine. Cable machine is like my favorite thing. It also really helps you implement that time under tension. Excuse me. Another thing that you could do is if you're someone that does like RDLs, like a dumbbell RDL, try to do a single leg dumbbell RDL. So just even switching up that exercise variation can really help with progressive overload and muscle confusion in general. Okay, next thing, this is a loaded question, by the way. Like I am getting detail oriented with this because I feel like I get this one all the time. So we're not done with this question. Next one is dialing in your sleep. Sleep is a superpower. I am someone that I put a lot of effort into my sleep and my nighttime routine because I am just such a happier and healthier human when I am getting that 7 to 9 hours. I would say like 8 is that magic sweet spot, but I can function really well off 7 hours. If I sleep more than 9 hours, sometimes I actually feel like more tired during the day, but the 7 to 9 hour window is key. And then obviously managing your stress. I mean, this one's kind of obvious and hard to do, but stress management can help. Focusing on less cardio over running or too much high intensity interval training. If you're wanting to build muscle, excess cardio can be a muscle burner. So just keep that in mind. I think that, less cardio is great. Incline walking outside, even doing the bike is a great way to manage inflammation while still getting cardio in. You guys know I don't run. I'm not like the biggest fan of running for body recomp for most women. Obviously, there are some people that are born to run and they have that runner's body and they feel amazing running, and that's awesome. But if you're someone that's wanting to like build a butt and sculpt your body, running 3 days a week just isn't going to do that for most people. Okay. So those are like when all of those are in alignment, you can add lean muscle while keeping fat gain extremely minimal. If you guys have any more questions about that, feel free to drop it down below or DM me. But I feel like that was, I answered that with a lot of different answers all in one. Let's move on to the next. How to know if you have high cortisol. I feel like I'm constantly having high cortisol, but what are the key signs? Okay, so cortisol is your body's stress hormone. It's essential for energy and metabolism, but when it stays chronically elevated, that's when it can start showing up in very predictable ways. So there's different signs of high cortisol when it comes to physical, emotional, and just like lifestyle habits. So I'm going to get granular with this question again and kind of go through each of those categories. So physical signs of cortisol, and these are like the most common is, stubborn belly fat, especially around the waist, weight loss resistance. So despite eating well and working out, you're struggling to lose weight. That can come from high cortisol. That morning fatigue feeling, and then that tired but wired energy at night. Poor sleep, middle of the night wake-ups are a classic sign of high cortisol. Increased bloating, slower digestion, breakouts, especially along the chin and jawline area, hair thinning and hair shedding, irregular painful periods, and then a high resting heart rate. Those are the physical signs of high cortisol. Moving into like the emotional and cognitive signs of high cortisol. Cortisol affects the brain just as much as it affects the body. So feeling anxious or on edge, irritability, mood swings, racing thoughts, especially at night, brain fog, feeling overwhelmed easily, and like low stress tolerance. And then habits that often cause high cortisol, overtraining, too much HIIT, so too much high intensity interval training or cardio. I experienced this when I was obsessed with spin. I would do spin at night 3 days of the week, and my cortisol was just through the roof. I remember like leaving a spin class and almost feeling like I need to like I can't wind down. Like it was impossible for me to wind down. I think that was detrimental to my thyroid health. I just did an episode all about hypothyroidism and thyroid health. If you're interested in that, I'll link that episode down below. But too much HIIT can be really detrimental to your cortisol. Under eating or skipping meals, low carb dieting for long periods, too much caffeine, especially before you eat, poor sleep, like hygiene and just poor sleep routine, chronic emotional stress, and then inconsistent blood sugar. So big cortisol spikes with that. Those are all of like the signs of high cortisol. Moving into the next question, what are ways to reduce your cortisol? So cortisol lowers when your nervous system feels safe and regulated. Ways to lower it are consistent morning sunlight. I feel like we've all heard this on a lot of podcasts, like getting out in the sun in the morning is really beneficial for like your circadian rhythm and just your cortisol. I struggle to, I guess I do get out in this. I wake up so early. So I wake up, between 4:30 and 5 a.m. I like to get up, do my thing, go to the gym, go to Pilates and get it done. I guess I get morning sunlight when I'm like walking out of the gym or walking out of Pilates. But I notice on weekends, I try to slow down on weekends. I try to sleep in on Saturdays. I just feel like it's healthy to sleep in every once in a while. And when I sleep in on a Saturday and go for a walk in the sun, it is just such a beautiful experience. And I can tell a difference in my stress. My body feels really calm. And it's I'm going to drink some water really quick, you guys. I'm actually drinking my Powders electrolytes. If you are not drinking electrolytes, you need to. I talk about this it's a question I'm actually going to answer later on, but the Powders electrolytes is so good. The fruit punch is my favorite. Okay, where did I just leave off? I was talking about morning sunlight. So yes, morning sunlight can help regulate your cortisol. Walking after meals. This is such a hot tip. If you're going to take away one thing from this episode, like I would listen to this because almost everyone can do it. Walking after a meal is amazing for your body recomp journey, for your total daily energy expenditure, for your cortisol levels, for blood sugar control. I like to do a walk after lunch if I can like time block that into my day. I know this isn't realistic for everyone, but if you can add in a walk at some point after a meal, it can be very beneficial. You guys know too, I love a post-dinner walk. And now that it's kind of, it gets dark at 3 p.m. Not really, but it gets dark at like 5 p.m. and it's super annoying. I'll do a walk I try to go on a walk after dinner still, but now that I'm single and I'm walking alone, it's like, you got to be safe. Okay. You got to be smart. And so sometimes like I think walking at night as a girl alone isn't smart, but I live in a pretty good area. And if I go walk in the evening, I try to walk in a well-trafficked area of my neighborhood and I feel really safe. I'll bring my little taser or pepper spray. That's always smart to do, but walking after meals is amazing for that. Lifting instead of long duration cardio. Cardio can increase your cortisol and lifting can regulate it. Keep that in mind. 8 to 9 hours of sleep. Sleep is a superpower. Like I said, sleep is just so important for so many areas of your health. And then eating high protein meals and making sure that your blood sugar is balanced. And then proper supplementation. So for me, if I'm in a phase of life where I feel like my cortisol is heightened, what I would do is I would take ashwagandha in the morning. I would do a ginger shot in the morning. That's also going to help with inflammation. And then I would take 3 to 5 or even 3 to 6 omega-3s. And then I would take magnesium glycinate at night. And that's kind of like a good supplement stack for cortisol and also inflammation. Another thing that's helpful to reduce your cortisol is breath work and the cold shower contrast. I post about this all the time, but you guys know I love a 20 to 30 minute sauna session and then jumping in a cold shower for 3 minutes. That is just the key to feel better. I think that like cold or hot and cold contrast therapy is incredible for your body, but even more incredible for your mental and emotional health. I get this question sometimes, like, do you cold plunge? I used to be obsessed with cold plunging. I got too obsessed with it. Once again, that addictive personality comes through, but I got like way too intense with cold plunging. I was cold plunging like 6 days a week for way too long. And I think it had a negative effect on my thyroid. I'm not against cold plunging. I just think you need to be doing it in a temperature that is good for you and your body, and also making sure you're not doing it for too long. I personally think that a cold shower has the same kind of benefits. I feel really good after. You get that little like endorphin high. You just feel like you accomplished something hard. You're ready to tackle the day. So that cold shower contrast can be really good for your body and cortisol. Reducing caffeine on an empty stomach. Okay, guys, I'm not good at this. I am not always good at eating before I have coffee, okay? I'm good at it some of the time, but it's an area that I personally can work on. And I'll always be honest with you guys. I will always be honest in areas that I need to improve on. That's an area I can improve on. Sometimes I don't eat before coffee and I notice a significant difference in my anxiety, a significant difference in how I feel in my body. When I have that 30 grams of protein and have my coffee after, I am so much more calm and I don't feel that like caffeine spike and then the crash. Another tip though, for helping with the release of caffeine in your body is when I make my coffee, I use the Symbiotica creamer and it has something in it that helps slow the release of the caffeine. I'm obsessed with it. I talked about this on my first favorites episode, but it's the Symbiotica Nootropic Coconut Vanilla Creamer. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I am obsessed with it. I have it every single day in my coffee. It is unbelievable. It's good for you. It's low calorie. It has a bunch of benefits in it. I'll link it down below. One of my favorite things. Okay, what are your thoughts on vibration plates? I love them as a lymphatic tool, but I don't think they're a workout replacement. I've been seeing some things online where people are like standing on the vibration tool in place of their workout, and I don't necessarily think you're going to build muscle by standing on a vibration plate. I know you can do workouts on a vibration plate. That's a whole different story. My lymphatic drainage girl, Raina, I talk about her all the time. I love her. She is so creative and does so many different workouts or she'll like work out while simultaneously doing the vibration plate. So I would go follow her. I'll link her Instagram down below. She also has an app too, or like a subscription where you can learn more about lymphatic drainage. So I'll link both of those down below, but she does it, like she's much more creative in that realm with like lifting and using the vibration plate. But in general, for most people, I think the vibration plate is amazing for lymphatic drainage. It's amazing for muscle activation before you lift. It reduces soreness. It can increase circulation and also help with inflammation. So I think that the vibration plate falls into a recovery section, not necessarily like a muscle building section. Okay. Can you please talk about rep counts? I'm so confused on what to do. Do I do high reps? Do I do low reps? What's your take on this? Okay, let's break it down. So generally 1 to 5 reps is a strength, kind of falls into the strength category. 6 to 12 reps is hypertrophy training, and then 12 to 20 plus reps is more high reps and endurance based. This is controversial, but for me personally, I have been able to achieve a physique by pretty much mainly doing 80 to 85% high reps. For women focusing on body recomp, I like and I encourage a 10 to 20 plus rep range depending on the movement. I do think drop sets are extremely beneficial, and I love drop sets. There's a lot of drop sets in my workout program, and what a drop set is you do like 4 to 8 reps into that 12 to 20 rep range. And that's a really good way to like fatigue the muscle. I love drop sets for bicep curls and hip thrusts, RDLs, all of that stuff. But I think that high reps is the key for like building muscle and fatiguing your muscle, but helping also support inflammation and reducing that puffy feeling. When I used to lift super heavy back in the day, I noticed that I was constantly sore and I felt puffy and I was tired after I left the gym. With the way that I lift now and with the way my workout programs are structured now, people leave the gym feeling energized. And that is the key. That's what I want. I want to leave the gym feeling good. Most of us are working out in the morning, and you want to leave the gym feeling good, energized, and accomplished. I don't want to leave the gym feeling absolutely shot and defeated and heavy and lethargic and too sore. Like, that's not what I'm going for. And once again, you guys, like, take what you want and leave what you don't from these episodes and from my approach. I think it's always important to listen to your body, try different things, do your own research. This is just what has worked for me and a lot of other women that I've trained and a lot of women who've done my one-on-one. I just know that for me personally, a higher rep count is conducive for body recomp when it comes to losing body fat and still gaining lean muscle and also sculpting your body. I'm not trying to put on like a massive amount of muscle. For me personally, for my physique, I want to have like a long, elongated, lean, toned, sculpted look. That's the look that I'm going for. And that might not be everyone's, ideal look, and that's okay. There's the beautiful thing about life is you can do what you want for what your goals are. And if your goals are different than mine, then that's totally fine. Could you please tell me more about your programs regarding macros? I'm definitely interested. Yes. Okay, let's get into this. So I have a few different types of programs when it comes to independent macro plans and coaching. I have a 12-week one-on-one coaching program. I have 3 coaches under me, Natalie, McKenna, and Taylor. They're amazing. Taylor's my head coach. So all my coaches take on clientele in the one-on-one program. Everything is filtered through Macro Habits. My coaches are trained under Macro Habits, and they were actually once clients of mine, which is crazy. And it's just a very full circle moment for them and me. And I think the best way to teach someone is obviously to do something. And the fact that they've done my program and they had their own physique transformations under me is just like incredible. And they are amazing coaches. I have only hired out of inspiration, not desperation. That is something I've been so strict and like keen on, is making sure that I hire only when I am inspired. And my 3 coaches are 100% inspired hires, and they're incredible. Truly, like, I cannot speak highly enough of my coaches. They are amazing. They are so good with clientele. Obviously, they're under me, and I help them, and I've trained them and all that stuff, but they're amazing. So they take clients in the 12-week one-on-one. So you're with a coach for 12 weeks. You have a phone call check-in every 2 weeks. You connect with them daily, Monday through Friday, between 9 to 5 p.m. So with any questions you might have, and then you send a screen recording of your macros every night, so they see it in the morning. They help with like restaurant help and weekend trips, vacations, how to navigate intuitive eating along with tracking macros. They give workout advice. The 12-week one-on-one program is so hard to fail in, because it's so hard to fail when you are in touch with your coach every day. When I created the 12-week one-on-one program and I started Macro Habits, I wanted to do things differently. I didn't want just like an email check-in once a week. Like, I wanted to do something that worked. I wanted to do something where you are teaching someone not only how to track macros, but how to eat in a way that is healthy, how to improve someone's relationship with food, how to also practice intuitively eating alongside tracking macros. I track macros with a flexible approach, and that's what my business is built on, and I'm very passionate about that. You can track macros and also intuitively eat. Like, two can coexist at the same time. So the 12-week one-on-one, although it's my most expensive program, I would say it has a 99% success rate because it's so hard to fail when you're talking and in communication with your coach through text every day, Monday through Friday. Okay. Moving on to independent macro plans. So if you're someone who doesn't necessarily want that accountability or doesn't want to spend the money for a coaching program, I offer one-time macro counts, cut macro splits, and then 6, 8, 10, and 12-week reverse dieting plans. And I know this is a lot of information, so I always encourage people to go fill out the start form on my website. When you fill out that start form on the Macro Habits website, it's going to send you a questionnaire and my general kind of price sheet. And once you fill out that questionnaire and 3-day food recall, you email it back to me, and then I can see your info and say, okay, Caitlin, this is all amazing. I recommend you do a 6-week reverse. Or, okay, Jessica, you are actually ready to go into a cut. Or I can kind of see your information and then be able to give you my diagnosis based on your goals and starting point and your average macro consumption. That's why that 3-day food recall is so important. I really pride myself on the way that I write macro plans because I don't use repeat plans. I don't use set ratios. I write every single plan based on that client's info. It is tailored to you and it is your plan, based on the wide variety of factors and questions from the questionnaire. And then I also have workout programs. So all my workout programs, once you purchase them, you have lifetime access to them. They have videos attached to every movement. It's on an app called Playbook. And I'll link all of this down below, but this also can be found on my website and my Instagram and all that stuff. Okay, what app do you use to track macros? I use the app Lose It, but I really think that you should use the app that you feel most comfortable with. So if you feel really good with MyFitnessPal, use MyFitnessPal. If you there's a million different tracking apps out there. I just personally love the layout of Lose It. And I think there's a one-time payment that you pay for the premium, and they are always doing sales. I bet they're doing an end of the year sale on it too, just as January is approaching. So I would check that out, but I really like the Lose It app. Okay. Next question. Please help me. I am a bride to be. What would you recommend for someone that's getting married in a year to do? This is such a good question. Okay. So if I've never been married. I've gotten close before, but I've never actually gotten married. So, okay, if I am thinking about myself or just a friend who is getting married and what I would recommend to them, I feel like when you are getting married, you want to be the most glowy, elevated version of yourself. You don't want to be a burnt out version. Okay. So you want to be careful with how you tackle the workouts and the eating, because you don't want to go into your wedding burnt out and gaunt and gray in the face. You want to be energized, you want to be rejuvenated, you want to be tight, lean, and toned. This is all the things I'm kind of thinking of. If I were to be a bride, that's what I would want. So if I could give you my go-to structure for someone that's getting married, this is my advice. 4 strength training days. Okay. I would do 2. For me personally, based on my physique, I would do 2 upper body days, 1 glute day, and 1 full body day. I really struggle to build muscle in my upper body. So if you're someone who's really happy with their upper body, then I would switch that and do 2 glute days, 1 full body, and then 1 upper body. I would really strive to do 8,000 to 12,000 steps a day. I don't track my steps. I don't wake up every day and say, okay, got to hit 10,000 steps. I don't know. I just feel like that's a little bit too intense for me. But I love to do an outdoor walk every day. So normally I hit between 10 to 15,000 steps a day, just with how active my lifestyle is. But if you're someone who's not walking a lot, I would give yourself a step count goal of 8,000 to 12,000 steps for this season of life as you're preparing for your wedding. Let's also preface this is a season that you'd be doing all this in because you're getting married, hopefully only one time, and you want to look and feel your absolute best for your wedding. You got to apply that discipline and you got to apply consistency to see results. I would do 1 type of cardio day max. I would do the bike or the Stairmaster, or I would do interval training on the treadmill with walking, like power walking intervals. I think that's really beneficial. I would really increase your protein. I would track macros. If you're getting ready for your wedding, let's get you on a macro split. I think that provides you structure and peace of mind, and to make sure you're not only fueling your body properly, but also helping you achieve that body recomp that you're wanting for your wedding. I would take anti-inflammatory supplements. I talked about this earlier in this episode. I also talk about this in my thyroid episode that I just posted. And then I would really focus on like stress management. So, things that help your cortisol to help with like reducing bloating, and then like your skin health and cravings and all that stuff. I would also gua sha your face every day. Oh, I love gua sha, you guys. You guys know this. The gua sha is just, it's a tool in my toolbox that I pull every day. Gua sha, facial massage. I actually think there's a question on here about gua sha, so I'll wait to answer all of that. And then lastly, for my like bride structure, drink 100 ounces of water a day with electrolytes. Not like, you don't have to put electrolytes in that 100 ounces, but just within your 100 ounces, make sure you're drinking electrolytes. Okay, moving on. How much do you weigh? Talked about this at the beginning of the episode. I weigh 135 to, my weight ranges from 135 to 140. And the only reason I know this is because I find this out when I do the InBody scanner, and I like to do the InBody scanner every like 4 to 8 weeks just to see how my, my body's progressing. But I am, hold on you guys, I just lost my place in this. Okay, there we go. I am very anti-weighing yourself. If you're listening to this episode, I want you to go into your house and I want you to take your scale that you weigh yourself on every morning, and I want you to throw it away. Please throw away the scale. It is detrimental to progression for 99% of people, in my opinion. I built a nutrition coaching program where you don't weigh yourself. I don't like weighing yourself. I think weighing yourself for women is it just does a lot more harm than good, especially for like the mental and emotional health around food and fitness and wellness and working out. Like your weight can fluctuate 2 to 6 pounds a day. And there's so many factors that fall into that. Water weight, your time of month, digestion, like there's travel, like so many things can affect your weight. So I know I said this earlier, but the second key takeaway from this episode is stop weighing yourself. Like seriously, you guys, I just think it's just not helpful for body recomp 99% of the time. Okay. In my one-on-one program, you go off progress pictures, measurements, energy levels, and how clothes fit. I think those are all great ways to track progress without having to use the scale. Now, with that being said, okay, let me gather my thoughts. There is a scale out there, and I don't know what it's called. I'm blanking on the name, but I've seen a lot of people post about it, and it shows you your muscle mass and body fat and water weight. And I think that's cool. Like, I'm actually not anti that. When you can see the full picture of everything, then I think that you actually start to care less about the number on the scale, and then start to care more about your body fat and your muscle mass and water, how your water is distributing throughout your body, all of that stuff. So I think if you have a scale like that, that's okay. But also, know yourself. If you're someone where you're weighing yourself and you're only focusing on that number and not looking at the body fat and not looking at the muscle, then stop doing the InBody scanner. It's not conducive for a healthy relationship and mindset around your body. And I think that is self-awareness, and it's good to take that data and change. So, but ultimately, throw away the scale. Okay. I'm not a fan. I'm actually really passionate about that. If you can't tell. What are your favorite arm workouts that won't bulk? So no movement inherently bulks. To bulk, you have to be in a high calorie surplus. But for what I've noticed for myself, like arm movements that I've incorporated weekly that have really helped me kind of like define my arms is reverse tricep cable extensions, wide set bicep curls. I love a wide set bicep curl. Even like I'll move the bench down a little, so I'm in like a decline bicep curl, and that really just like rips your bicep. It puts all that pressure and tension on the bicep. Lateral raises, serve the platters. Pilates really introduced me to serve the platters or dumbbell serve the platters, and those are now like heavily incorporated in my last few workout programs. Cable face pulls. I love a cable face pull for the back. Really defines the back. Single arm dumbbell presses. I like doing a single arm dumbbell press or dumbbell shoulder press because I feel like it really engages my core at the same time. And then dumbbell tricep kickbacks. So good for that little tricep muscle, which for me personally, guys, like it is so damn hard for me to build arm muscle. I have long ass arms, okay? Like I'm a gangly girl, and it's just so hard for me to build arm muscle. I train upper body 2 to 3 times a week because like, it's just, yeah, building the arm muscles is tough. Everyone has areas of their body that build muscle quicker. People have areas of body that lose body fat quicker. Like we're all made differently. And that also can affect like body recomp. But in terms of arms, those are some of my favorite exercises. And then I like a slow and controlled tempo. I focus on good form. I like the 12 to 25 rep range. Like I said, like the higher reps. And also every exercise is a core exercise. Just remember that. You should be engaging your core with every exercise. I don't care if you're doing a squat, a bicep curl, shoulder press, an RDL. Like you need to tuck in your core. I always kind of imagine like you squeeze it, like you suck your belly button to your spine and you kind of like tighten up this core set. Like that's what I kind of imagine when I'm engaging my core. And the more you engage your core in your workouts, the more you're going to engage your core throughout the day. And even when I'm going on my outdoor walk, sometimes I'll like focus on core engagement just by utilizing that core. Okay. What do I wish every woman knew about macros? I wish that every woman knew that macros are not necessarily dieting, they're awareness. I think that's a really good way to look at tracking macros. Macros give you freedom because you understand portions. You stay full if you're at the right macro split, which is key. You stop overeating and stop undereating. You find that really happy medium of fueling your body properly. You stop the guesswork. You learn what your body actually responds to. And in my eyes, tracking macros is about educating yourself. It's not about restricting yourself. There is a difference between discipline and restriction, and I will die on that hill. I honestly get annoyed sometimes with the world of like health, wellness, and social media because people are like upset at you if you're disciplined. And I'm like, why would you? Discipline is a superpower as well. Like being disciplined is good. You have to apply discipline to get to the next level in life. I don't care if it's in your job, if it's in your physique, if it's in your relationships, like you need to be disciplined in a lot of areas of life to be successful. And that's a good thing. You know, I think that restriction is not good. I mean, like you don't want to be overly restrictive in areas of your life, but there's a difference. There's a key difference between discipline and restriction. I feel like I'm getting really spicy and passionate in this episode, but just going with it. I feel like I've been a little spicy lately. I made a TikTok the other day actually, and I just was kind of ranting about something. And maybe I'm entering my spicy era. Maybe I'm going to be a little bit more, a little bit more vocal about some things or a little bit more open. I'm feeling vulnerable. I'm feeling open. I'm feeling spicy. So buckle up for the next couple episodes. Okay. What does metabolic health actually mean and how do you improve it? This is a loaded question once again, you guys. So here we go. Metabolic health is the foundation of fat loss, muscle growth, hormone balance, energy, digestion, mood, overall longevity. If you feel like, signs that you have that you're struggling with metabolic health can be constant fatigue, intense cravings, irregular periods, feeling cold often, difficulty losing fat, hair shedding, low libido, poor recovery from workouts, blood sugar swings, waking up at 2 to 3 a.m., consistently, and then constant food noise. So when your body's not regulated, you're reactive. And that's like, obviously all those things I just listed are when your body is kind of like out of whack and your metabolic health isn't functioning at an optimal level. When you are regulated, like when you have good metabolic health, the symptoms are stable hunger, steady energy throughout the day, regular periods, good sleep, balanced blood sugar, fewer cravings, easier fat loss, and then good muscle retention. So metabolic health is something you can definitely work on. And once again, I'm a broken record with this, but reverse dieting can really help your metabolic health and your metabolism function. Here comes the gua sha question. Do you gua sha in the morning or the night? Please tell me your protocol. All right, ladies, I'm going to give it to you. So I gua sha in the mornings, okay? And it has just become a really nice part of my day. I like to romanticize the gua sha process because let's be real here. Gua shaing is kind of annoying and it's not necessarily like fun. So what I do is I will actually lately I've been gua shaing after I shower, after my workout, or right before I shower, but I don't really gua sha first thing in the morning right now. I'm kind of doing more of an ice roll on the way to the gym type of situation. Sometimes I do it, but regardless, the main point is I do gua sha at some point in the day. And I like to put my phone up and watch a YouTube video while I gua sha or watch Selling OC, or that's the show I'm watching right now, which I freaking love Selling OC. You guys, I love Alex Hall. She's like that bitch. Like, I just love her. She's like got this energy and this spice that I am just obsessed with. And Selling OC and Selling Sunset are like two of my favorite shows. Anyway, so I'll set up my YouTube or whatever show I'm watching, and then I have my face oil, and I'll link all of this down below. I use the Skinny Confidential face oil, and it doesn't break me out. I really like it. I have acne-prone skin. It doesn't break me out. And then I have just a simple metal gua sha tool, and then I have my ice roller. And I love the mint roller specifically from the Skinny Confidential because it has two sides. So one of the sides has like a curvature in it that's really good for your jawline, and then the other side is more of a flat, kind of like rounded type of figure that's really good for just like the face in general. And I also use it on my neck. But what I do is I start with opening up my lymph nodes, and then I go in with, I do some general facial massage in the beginning. So I'll take my hands, if you're watching on YouTube, you're like seeing me do this right now, but I take these like little bunny ears and I rip all the way up from my chin to my ears. I do a lot of facial massage. It's hard for me to like tell you guys about this. I feel like I need to show you. I'll do another gua sha routine reel, but I'd also follow Raina. She's taught me a lot about facial massage, but basically I use my gua sha tool, I facial massage, and I definitely do my brows, like lifting right here on your temple where your brow is and pulling up. It like lifts your face. I'm telling you right now, do it to one side of your face and then look in the mirror and you'll be like, holy shit, like my left eyebrow is lifted because you just spent a few minutes doing some simple massage technique that really lifts your face. Okay. And then I finish with ice rolling. That's kind of like the finale is I'll ice roll everything. And then I wash my face and put my makeup on and go about my day. Or if I'm doing it at night, I'll wash my face and do my skincare routine. But something really random that's fitting for this question is this morning, like I said, I had an off night last night. Okay. I woke up puffy. My face was puffy. My eyes were puffy. So I got a big bowl of ice, filled it with water, and shoved my face in ice water for like 25 seconds at a time. I did 5 dunks and like, it really helped me. Okay. It helped the puffiness, and it also just like got my mind right. And I'm like, I'm not going to be a little bitch today. I'm going to attack the day. It's going to be a great day. We're going to feel our feelings when they come. But yeah, shoving my face in ice water, it's good for the puffiness and it's good for the mental. Okay, that's my gua sha routine though. But like, I'm going to do a reel on it. I promise you, I'm holding myself accountable. I'm going to film myself doing this and post a reel so you guys can go look at that. That will for sure be up by the time this episode airs. I go to bed hungry every night. Hannah, please help me. I crave a snack at 10 p.m. How do I stop snacking? So night cravings are usually caused by undereating during the day, especially with protein. That gets like low protein, you're going to have more cravings because protein's the most satiating macronutrient. So it fills you up. Your body also burns the most calories through digesting protein. You want to boost your metabolism, eat more protein. It also those cravings can come from low fiber, high cortisol, and then blood sugar crashes. So a lot of the night cravings, honestly, you guys, can be solved with hitting your protein or tracking macros to make sure you're getting the right amount of each macronutrient to where your body is balanced. Every macro has a role in the body. Okay. Like protein obviously is amazing for muscle growth and your hair, skin, and nails, metabolism. Fats are super important for hormone regulation. Fats also take 9 hours to digest. So if you need to like fill yourself up and have a lot of satiety, you want to make sure you're hitting your fats. And then Carbs digest really quickly, instantly within 30 minutes to an hour, and they're amazing for energy. They also are kind of like a helping hand in terms of protein with building muscle. They're extremely important. I know carbs sometimes are cut by a lot of people, but carbs are really important also for like your brain function and showing up as the best version of yourself in terms of energy and all that stuff, and how you feel in your workouts too. So just keep in mind, when you're tracking macros, you're tracking all 3 macronutrients, and you're making sure that you're getting the right amount of each for your body and your goals and all that stuff. Okay, so to fix the nighttime cravings, that late night hunger, I'd recommend starting your day with 30 grams of protein. This morning even, I had, Greek yogurt with chia seeds, flax seeds, blueberries, Catalina Crunch, and then the Clean Simple Eats sweet classic peanut butter. Best peanut butter ever. It's so good, especially if you track macros, because it like drizzles over the bowl really nicely. That's where I got my 30 grams of protein in. And then I also always do whole milk in my lattes. I'll do 2% or whole milk, and I get about 5 to 8 grams of protein there too. Another way to help with those nighttime cravings or that late night craving is to eat a real dinner. Like, eat a real dinner, ladies. Like, we got to have protein, fats, and carbs. You don't want to like eat like a bird at dinner because you're going to be starving at like 10 p.m. Have a stable nighttime routine, or a consistent nighttime routine is a better way to say that. So for me, I could get really detail oriented with my nighttime routine. I'll spare you on that, but I think my body responds really well to routine, and my wind down process is a little bit, it can be like tedious in a good way, because I feel like I'm romanticizing my nighttime routine. But that kind of helps me. I feel like it tells my body like, we're done eating for the day in a way, like I'm moving on to other things. And part of my nighttime routine does involve a treat. So that brings me to my next thing, which is having like a tea or like a magnesium drink. I like the Powders hot chocolate. I drink this almost every single night, especially during the week. And I've talked about this a million times, but the chocolate sea salt caramel Powders hot chocolate with 3 to 4 ounces of whole milk is so, so good. I have a whole entire, when did I talk about this? I talked about this on my first favorites episode about my protocol with this hot chocolate. I'll link it down below. I have a code that saves you, but like I'm obsessed with this hot chocolate. Okay. You can also do like an Olipop or a Zevia or something like that if you just need like a little something, but you shouldn't be going to bed like starving. I don't think that's like healthy. And if it was 9 p.m. and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really hungry, like I'm like legit hungry, I would go make a protein shake or have some Greek yogurt with fruit and chocolate chips and some peanut butter, or like I would eat. So I'm not saying like don't eat if you're hungry, but if you're hitting your macros and fueling your body throughout the day, normally you should go to bed feeling like pretty good and satiated. Okay, I'm like slouching on this. Okay. Let's move on. This is going to be a long episode, you guys, but I'm here for it. I'm feeling chatty today. Can you please give us your supplement protocol for inflammation? What supplements do you take right now? Okay, so for inflammation, I talked about this earlier, the omega-3, magnesium glycinate, ginger and turmeric, glutathione. I love the Symbiotica liposomal glutathione, vitamin D3, and then having a good probiotic. I love the seed probiotic and the refresh one. My current supplement protocol, it kind of varies based on how I'm feeling. Honestly, you guys, I kind of used to over supplement in a way. Okay. So I've learned a lot with supplementation, and another good supplement for inflammation, which is the one I take right now, is from Symbiotica. It's the anti-inflammatory supplement. I really like that one. But my current protocol is I like to take omega-3s. I take a probiotic. I take digestive enzymes when I need them. I'll link my favorite digestive enzymes down below. One of them is the Athlete Digestive Formula from Gains and Bulk, and the other is the Array Bloat Capsules. I like those. Electrolytes, and obviously I'm taking peptides. And then, did I say probiotic? I just want to make sure I said that. And then lastly, greens. I don't take greens every day, and I'm going to be really honest with you guys. There's a few different companies that I like greens from. I like Better Days greens a lot. They have caffeinated greens, which is nice too. And I like the Clean Simple Eats greens. The cherry limeade Clean Simple Eats greens is so good. And I put a splash of lemon juice in there, or I'll squeeze a lemon in it. And it's really, really, really tasty. A great afternoon refreshing drink. But I don't drink greens every day. Like, I'm going to be super honest. per usual. I used to drink greens religiously, and now at this phase of my life, like I'm doing electrolytes religiously. I do my Kion aminos religiously. And then the greens are kind of like the icing on the cake. I drink them if I feel like it, but honestly, I don't drink them every day. I actually drink greens more when I'm traveling because I feel like it helps with digestion, but Better Days and Clean Simple Eats have really good greens powders. What's your go-to breakfast? Okay, so high protein, of course. I like to do 3 different things usually. One of them is 3 hard-boiled eggs, and then I'll do cottage cheese and avocado, and I'll do a little hot sauce, flake sea salt. I really love hard-boiled eggs. Or I'll do like an egg scramble with avocado and cottage cheese. My most common one though is a Greek yogurt bowl. You guys know this. Did I coin the Greek yogurt cottage cheese bowl? Maybe I did because I've been eating it for so many years now. But I'll do Greek yogurt. I'll mix in some cottage cheese for a little bit more boost of protein. And I kind of already talked about what I put in it. It's literally what I said a few questions ago. And then lastly, ground beef bowl. This is if I need to like be fueled and full. I'll do like 4 to 5 ounces of ground beef, and then I'll add in cottage cheese, avocado, sweet potatoes. You can do hot sauce, hot honey, kind of like the world is your oyster with what you want to add to that. But ground beef is going to keep you full. So if you're noticing like, I'm getting so hungry at like 11 a.m., you need to amp up that protein in the morning. That's going to keep you fuller until lunch, and it's going to make you feel good and satiated. If I hit my protein early, okay, if I get 30 plus grams of protein in the morning, my whole day feels so much easier. I have less cravings. I'm more satiated, and it's just such a tip that is doable it's an easy tip to help yourself feel better and see more results. Okay, we're wrapping up almost here, guys. What habits would you change? What habits would change someone's body the fastest? Hitting protein every day or increasing your protein intake, 3 to 4 solid lifts a week, increasing your steps per day, trying to incorporate better sleep habits. I would say decreasing your alcohol intake. I'm not anti-alcohol. I don't personally drink alcohol. It's just like a lifestyle decision. But I have a lot of clients who, drink alcohol casually, which is totally fine. I don't think you need to like stop drinking alcohol to see results, but I don't think alcohol is helpful for results. If I'm being super honest, alcohol stops your body from burning fat. It's like horrible for your liver. It's bad for your skin. I mean, honestly, alcohol is bad for you. I think we can all agree that alcohol is bad for you. And pick and choose. And I'm just here to kind of give it to you straight. If you're drinking multiple nights a week, that is going to hinder your progression. So just keep that in mind. And then drinking enough water, and especially drinking electrolytes. You guys, electrolytes are amazing. And I'm going to be really honest and transparent right now about electrolytes and about brands. So I have to be honest, like I really don't like LMNT or Relight. I've tried them before and they've made me feel bloated and kind of bogged down. Powders, electrolytes make me feel amazing. I feel good. They help my digestion. They have a high amount of potassium along with a good amount of sodium, but they don't have too much sodium. You want to get sodium, obviously, but too much of anything is bad for you. And I love the profile of minerals in the powders electrolytes specifically. Fruit punch is my favorite flavor, but all their flavors are really good, to be honest. I'm a creature of habit and I really like the fruit punch. So I would encourage you guys to go get the powders electrolytes, not only, and in general, electrolytes support hormonal health. They help energy levels, metabolism. You want to have that balanced sodium and potassium intake. Having a balanced sodium and potassium intake is going to reduce puffiness. It's going to help your digestion, and it helps eliminate water retention. So I think drinking electrolytes every day is amazing. And then having the mentality of consistency over perfection. You don't have to be perfect to see results. I promise you that. You really just need to be consistent with your small habits, and that is going to get you so much further than having this all in or all out mentality. Which is my next question. How do you stop the all in or all out mentality when it comes to food? I think about my cheat meal all week. Please help me. Okay, guys, I've talked about this before. I am so passionate about this. Like, stop doing cheat meals. Cheat meals create a scarcity mindset. They create this association of food with reward. It can lead to binging and it leads to food guilt. I just don't think that cheat meals are helpful for not only your body, but your mindset around food. And I'm going to do a whole episode about how important it is to focus on your relationship with food when it comes to seeing more physical results. Like, the mind, body, and spirit all need to be in alignment when it comes to body recomposition. Okay. So I would say get rid of cheat meals, stop labeling food as good or bad, add carbs in throughout the day. Make sure you're not like, depriving yourself of carbs all day and then going crazy with carbs at night. Hit your protein so your cravings naturally drop or become a little bit less frequent. Plan flexibility into your week. You guys know this. I'm a treat girl. We all know I love a sweet treat most nights, which is fine because I like fit it into my macros and I'm really good with portions, but that's the key. Fitting it into your macros and watching your portions, okay? Like, there's times where I'll go get ice cream with a friend on a Tuesday and I eat half the ice cream and I'm satiated and I throw it away. I'll be super honest with that. Then there's times where I get ice cream and I eat the whole thing and I feel good after, and I just, that night, like, I could eat the whole thing and feel good after. It's all about listening into your body. I never go into any dinner or treat and say, okay, I have to finish this, or oh my gosh, I need to finish this because I'm not gonna be able to have a treat till next Friday. Like, I don't have that mentality. I stop when I'm full. And that is something that you have to get better at. It is really hard in the beginning and it requires discipline and effort and consistency. And I'm at the point now where I'm pretty good about stopping when I'm full. I don't care if it's a steak or an apple or like fruit or veg or something healthy. This applies to healthy food and food that's like more like fun and where you're with friends and participating and it's more of an experience. I just think it's really important to have that flexibility and not look at good as like food, or not look at food as good or bad. So let yourself have some fun food without guilt. What's that saying? One healthy meal isn't going to make you skinny and one bad meal isn't going to make you fat. Air quotes around both. I know I just used some like intense words, but just to kind of like give it to you guys straight, like, you can have, a meal that's like quote unquote bad for you and it's not going to like change your body overnight. Food is fun. Food is beautiful. It's cultural. It's about experience. You connect with people through food. Like, I'm a foodie. I love going to restaurants with friends and family and, it's a beautiful thing. So I don't think we need to like have these harsh restrictions on when you can or can't enjoy something. I just think it comes down to consistency with your small habits, portion control, and stopping when you're full. You also need to remove that start over on Monday mentality. Oh, I used to have that mentality. I would go crazy on a Sunday because I'm like, I'll just start tomorrow. So I'm going to go have like whatever I want right now. I'm going to go eat all this fun food and then feel like shit after, and then wake up on Monday morning feeling like shit because I'm bloated and I feel puffy and I'm frustrated at myself. You got to get rid of that mentality. You need to get rid of the all in or all out and really start to focus on the balance of tracking macros, intuitively eating, and doing your small habits. So when you understand macros, you stop needing cheat meals because you just live in more of like a balanced state. Okay, guys, those are all the questions that I have on that I took from that questionnaire. I'm going to look at it one more time just to make sure there's none that I want to answer really quickly. I really want to make sure that I'm answering all of your guys' questions to the best of my ability, to where you're really like getting good info from these types of episodes. But as I'm looking, I feel like I answered all of them. Shampoo and conditioner recs. Okay. I'm going to do a whole other Q&A, more of like a kind of like unhinged Q&A, or just like a Q&A about relationships, friendships, beauty, lifestyle, religion. I did that. I think that was like my second or third episode. And I want to do like an updated Q&A like every 3 months. So that'll maybe be my next one, like a Q&A that's a little bit more, I don't know, a little more spicy. I'm feeling spicy lately, like I said. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope you have a great weekend. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to DM me. You can always drop a comment down below, but I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next Friday.